Anyway, I forgot to bring up your bios, but I'm a big fan of Jordan Goldman, and I'm a big fan of Joe Leonard. Joe Leonard was here about 15 years ago when we were a Final Cut Pro user group, and he was editing Glee. Glee was actually using Final Cut back there, one of the few TV shows that did along. You were there working along with Doc Krotzer and a lot of wonderful editors. And it was a wonderful show, and it was one of the first big TV shows to use Final Cut. And of course, I've been a big fan of Jordan Goldman's ever since Homeland, and which.
Thank you.
Yes, and the thing these two have in common is they both edited this television show called Dark Matter. Now, how many people here have actually seen Dark Matter? Okay, Dark Matter is somewhat of a complicated show, at least in my. But I was absolutely riveted to it when I was watching it. But it's also one of those shows that you cannot have your phone nearby. You cannot have anything nearby. You need to concentrate on it. And there was a lot of WTF moments, and it was, this brings me to my first question. It is complicated, and what do you do to make sure that the audience is engaged and then they can, without being confused? And there were several times when I was confused, but yet you brought me back in. I mean, that is attributed a lot to both of you and to both of the episodes you did, but it was a remarkable achievement, I think. Well, in storytelling.
I'm glad you liked it, but it was based on a book, and the book had a certain structure that we had to figure. It was almost like it's a show about choices that you make in life, and so it starts out pretty grounded, and the concept is if you make one choice, your life goes this direction, and if you make another choice, your life goes another direction, and in some sort of multiverse kind of like universe, and we all kind of experience this in our lives, like what if I had made that choice then?
Yeah.
And that's what I loved about it. It's kind of like It's a Wonderful Life, or it was Sliding Doors or something. Like any moment you make this one choice, you go this other way. So I approached it as, for me, just how do you set the grounding of it, and how do you create a situation where you understand where you're starting, and then start to mess with people, and then try to keep them. And there were a couple of things we tried to do that, because it became difficult even on the script. I looked at the first episode of that show, and there's a moment where suddenly there are two versions of a person walking into the same house, and it's scripted to be intercut like it's happening at the same time. And we couldn't quite figure out, they didn't quite figure it out when they were filming it, and we kind of had to figure out how to balance it so so that you were confused as hell, and yet could also kind of follow what was going on, and that this person. So I don't know how much I need to give the basis of it, but basically.
Do you want to show the trailer?
Yeah, I was going to show the trailer for those of you who have not seen it.
You can do the trailer.
All right, click on the arrow and put your mouse down the bottom. There we go.
Here we go. To my extraordinary wife, Danielle, I do not deserve you.
That's true.
A man of science. He is married to a woman of his dreams, and they have a good life.
Have a good day.
Off you go.
Oh my gosh, you're my hero.
Until one night, he doesn't make it home. When he regains consciousness, everything has changed. I don't know, it sounds like he's crazy. I'm not crazy. Who are you?
I live here with you.
Charlie! Danielle! Have you done something to them?
Don't know who you're talking about.
It's Jason. You know, I've never served you. It's not funny, just tell me you know who I am. I've never seen you before in my life. I just need answers.
You built the box. Behind every door in there is a version of your life that you could have lived.
stole me from my world. And he brought me to his world. What if the person that abducted me is me? Hey, fam.
Why would he do that? What's the one thing you had that he didn't? You've been different, and I'm scared. I don't know what to do.
I need the music box to get home.
The load you're looking for is a grain of sand on an infinite beach.
You need to get home to my family. I want my life back.
You ever get that feeling when I kiss and hug? Do it now. Tell me that. And I can never go home.
Lights up.
I know it does. So
Lights, please, Sammy.
So
Okay.
this guy, Jimmy Stewart, he's abducted from his world by a version of himself from another world where he made the wrong decision 18 years ago. And when his girlfriend got pregnant, he said, I have to work. And the other version of himself said, I gotcha, or whatever, I'm in all the way. And he sacrificed his whatever, at his ambition. And so that's our main version. We'll call him Jason 1. Then there's Jason 2, who basically is a brilliant physicist, and he created this contraption that allows you to move between versions of your life in a kind of horizontal way. So not going back in time, but like looking at other versions of what you could have been. And he decides to abduct the version of himself that did not make this decision so he can have his Jennifer Connelly and son, and you can't blame him for that. And so he abducts Jason 1 and brings him to World 2, and this is the pilot. So that's the concept of the show.
You got it?
So they switch. So Jason 1 is in World 2 and Jason 2 is in World 1. And Jason 2 is a brilliant Elon Musk kind of guy, and Jason 1 is like me, or I don't know.
But Jason
Anyway.
1 could have been that guy.
Yes.
Had he made
A
one or
different-
two different choice,
Yes.
he could have become that guy.
Yeah.
So that's it's about
Yes.
the price of your choices in a way.
Correct. So there's like a little bit of a slow burn through this series where you get to understand the implications of this. And that's why it kind of reminded me right away of It's a Wonderful Life, Sliding Doors, and your decisions make the version of yourself that you are, and this is a chance for us to all look at it. So anyway,
Was there a lot of discussion prior to the first episode, and then during the show, and between you two and the showrunner and the directors? And
I would say so.
was this show any different than the shows that you were normally cut? Because
I'll let Jordan talk about it, but I mean, my feeling was we came in at about the same time, and I had a certain challenge with the first 3 episodes, and Jordan had a very big challenge with the 2 after that were like really opening the box into all these infinite possibilities. But we got to communicate with the directors and with Blake pretty early, and we shared scenes together each week, and it was kind of a lovely experience of working together and collaborating with these directors and talking to Blake, who, by the way, wrote the book.
Yeah.
So it's like if you got a question, then he's got the answer.
And what's really amazing about that is that he was not precious about what's in the book. So, he wrote this novel. It was a big hit for him. It was a big hit, period. And he's written a bunch of books, and he's a really great writer. And he's really smart, and he's thought everything out. But he's also of the school that the best idea wins. So if there's a tweak that was made in the writer's room when converting the book to a television script, if there was a better idea, they would do it. If one of us had a good idea for something that wasn't exactly what it was in the book, if he liked it, he'd go for it. And so it was in a way like he got to do another draft of this book. It's true. Which is pretty cool. And a lot of authors, I think, would be super inflexible. And they'd be like, no, this is it. I wrote it, and I'm the showrunner to protect it.
And literally, the book was written in first person from Jason 1's point of view only. But the show is from Jason 1's point of view and Jason 2's point of view. And we can do that and with these balancing these things. But trying to make it clear what was going on was a bit of a challenge.
Yeah.
Because they had these things scripted and you're switching between worlds, and I had to try and come up with like some kind of device to do that. We had kind of like a snap, that's sort of like a Marvel snap or something,
Yeah.
which was it's like an indicator, it's a clue
Yeah.
that we're moving, because just when it's and it wasn't like we knew it had to be something, so we worked on that a bunch. And then eventually we were like, God, do we have to keep doing that snap thing? Because it's not really important. We're like, can we just stop doing it? Because I think we can figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
And that was literally it. Like, if we can figure out what's going on, we're not doing it anymore. And then, of course, there's like podcasts. It's like, why did the snap stop? What does that mean? What does that mean? It's like, well, we're annoyed by it, basically. We're annoyed by
I
it.
got so many questions, but we do want to show as many
Yeah.
clips as we possibly can. So what would be the first one?
Yeah, is this the first bar one? All right, so this is just Jason 1 going into his local bar, and I want you to just notice some of the sound stuff, and we'll just let it play, and then we'll do the next one. So he has not been abducted yet. He's just feeling ennui and wants to go to his local bar. The sign. The sound effect to the door.
Fuck you. Why are you here? You didn't know what's this? Was he bribing you? Not really. She pointed out that if you, have a little self-praise, my local bar that was probably desperate plea for my attention, this guy didn't show up, I'd be an asshole. Your wife was a beautiful genius, and I appreciate her. This man loves scotch. Oh, I know. Do bring him joy. What is the nicest, the best one you have?
McAllen? The best?
Yes, bring him the bottle. Bach. Yes, Adam. Bottle? Well, it's just more fun. Okay,
Good choice.
That's my last one. That is a good time. Yeah, generally. Oh, did you hear that squeak? Is that a sign of good scotch? It's a cork. Congratulations. I introduce you to a bunch of people who probably don't really want to meet. I want them to experience. Guys, this is Jason.
Hi, Claire. Nice to meet you.
Edward.
Hi there. You are so lucky to have known him for so long.
Crazy how his mind works, you know? I mean, like, I know I'm a genius, but I mean, like, when he talks, it's like, ugh.
And what do you do?
I teach physics at LACPUG. He's a professor. Yeah.
Oh.
Yes. I'm a member of the Ryan family.
Keep the lights down, Sammy. We're going to go and play a next bar scene. So turn this clip off.
So that was Jason 1 in World 1, where he's a physics professor. A very super successful one. And now we're going to watch.
102. There you go.
So now we're going to watch him. He's been abducted into World 2, and he's going into the same bar. and I'm trying to kind of create connections, but also show you how it's different. This wasn't part of the show.
This is a kind of bold creative choice.
But actually, it's kind of interesting. We did have a sequence like this with lots of text messages and stuff.
Don't touch your hair.
It's okay. You don't have to go all the way to the beginning. Just go back to the bar. Just go to the bar part. Yeah. Go to the green sign. I'm giving you a hint. Perfect. No tweets.
Just did last call, man. Sorry.
You know him? I don't think so. Come on, man. How do you know me? I come in here all the time. Oh, I've never served you. It's Jason. Okay? There was a party tonight, man. You served us a bottle of the McKellen, man. Where? You mean this bottle? Yeah. I haven't sold a drop of that all week. You open up the bath for my friend. I've never seen you before. In my life. Matt! Fuck, man, you're freaking me out, okay? It's not funny, just tell me, you know, who I am. Okay, here's what I'm gonna tell you. Go get some fucking help and get the fuck out of my bar. Mike? Is that gonna be a problem? No.
So that's Jason 1 and World 2.
Lights?
So the challenge with this, I thought, was to kind of connect the two places, but show that they're different. And so there's a different colored sign. There's the same song playing, but it's a cover of the same song that no one would ever notice except for me. But there are like a lot of details. But the door sounds the same, so the bar is the same. And so it was like kind of trying to find a way to build a world where it's like everything is, this is familiar but different, and do it on a pretty subtle level. I like, you know, that the bartender knows him in World 1, but in World 2 he doesn't. And then all the details underneath I'm trying to fuck with and trying to like kind of give you some idea of that something's off.
Did you and your assistant build that sound design for the?
Yeah.
Wow.
We did, but I mean, obviously we're listening to the final mix.
Right,
over
yeah.
there. But we discussed it in the mix and all of that. And the song we picked was actually Ring of Fire. And we were going to do Ring of Fire, Johnny Cash on the first one, and Ring of Fire Rancid on the second one, which would have been very different. But they couldn't clear it with Johnny Cash's people. And so it got subtler. But that was the idea. And it's like sometimes when you're trying to work on something like this, it's kind of complicated. You're working on sort of subtle levels of trying to like communicate something. But I think it's probably better that it's not Johnny Cash and then Rancid, because I take as much pleasure in it. Like for me, like in terms of what I was trying to do, I don't know if it came across or not, but like ultimately we're looking for those things to like. I'm trying to open up the world for like the next clip, which you're going to see, which will be Jordan's, where they're really opening things up.
Yeah. So Joe had an interesting challenge that for the first 3 episodes, you need to establish the rules of the dual timeline and how it works and what's different. Yeah, what's different, what's the same, what are the clues, how it all works. And then in episode 4, as hinted at in the trailer, everything goes bananas because Jason 1 gets into the box and takes off. And he's got Amanda with him, and off they go onto another adventure. And now we have to set up a whole another set of rules and explanations for the audience of what are the rules of the box, what are the rules of the corridor. And so for those of you who have not seen the show yet, the box that you saw in the trailer, when you go into it, you shut the door locks for 5 minutes, you shoot up a special drug that turns off a part of your brain, and when you wake up, you're not inside a box anymore. You're inside an endless corridor.
Of doors.
And it's a cross-section of all the probable realities.
Happening right now.
And it's the human brain's way of interpreting this into something that makes sense to us.
And the drug allows you, and this box allows you to somehow open that. That's the big conceit.
Yeah, that's sort of the metaphor. And so when you open a door, it takes you into one of these different, we call them timelines sometimes, but they're not timelines, they're realities, because all time is moving at the same rate in all of them. So in episodes 4 and 5, the characters are trying to figure out, how do you pilot the box? What are the rules? Do the doors stay the same? Does each drug trip reset everything? What happens if I do something here? Does it affect something there? So it turns into all this crazy rules, and he's trying to figure it all out. And so the clip that I have to show is a clip where he and Amanda, who is Jason 2's girlfriend, on and off girlfriend from World 2, Jason 1 and Amanda 2 are in the box together. So it can get confusing, guys.
I don't want to confuse things more, but I just want to say that like this is what's the conversation is like. In every show you go into, you're always world building in some way, right?
Yeah.
You're setting the tone. You're finding what you need to be doing to kind of create that tone. You're trying to understand it, and you're always kind of like you're setting rules, whether it's World 1, World 2, or just like our world, or it's 1940s.
Or how does this police station operate?
Or how does this police station operate? And so in this particular case, we're working with something that's a little more complicated, where we're setting different rules for different things. What I was trying to do in the first few episodes is set up, okay, World 1 is like this. It's like a little more like normal, relatable. World 2 is a little harsher, a little harder. It's like I'm trying to get dogs barking in the alleyway, and it's everything's scary and harder. Everybody is harder in this world. And now we're opening up into every possibility here.
Yeah.
But it's all kind of world building, because I'm just setting the stage for Jordan to be able to do his magic.
Thank you. And I would just like to shout out to Tim Feely, my assistant editor on this show.
Oh, God.
Also co-editor on one of the episodes. Tim, thank you. Swing up.
So raise your hand, Tim. So,
There he is.
Oh, I thought he was over there. I'm looking at the totally wrong guy.
The man in the jean jacket.
there's somebody down here who looks like you, Tim. There.
And he was looking back at me like, why is he staring at me?
Tim, yeah. Other Tim, he deserves so much credit.
That's Tim too.
That's Tim 2 from the other timeline. We gotta set that up though, man. We can't just do that. We gotta set it up earlier.
So this clip, just to set it up, is going to be the 104 door opening montage. And this takes place, I don't know, maybe like 15 minutes into episode 4. So the thing that you saw in the trailer where the building collapsed, that's all happened. Our 2 travelers are completely freaked out, and they're trying to figure it out. And Jason, who is the scientist, is like trying to put the pieces together and make sense of it. And so what we needed was this montage to show their growing frustration and the impossibility of finding your way out of this. So, and then I'll tell you some of the cool cheats.
Well, the other thing I want to add is just in terms of, this is Jason 1. trying to get back to his wife in World War I. And that's what we were trying to kind of like get ready for this.
Yeah, that's
right?
his whole objective for the whole series.
It's like the future.
Yeah.
Who killed my wife?
Yeah.
So they're escaping World 2.
And this is the corridor.
That's a man.
It wasn't you.
It's about 3 hours ago.
Man, I was a different man. Different Jason. Must have not escaped till hours after we. I keep trying.
There's no logic to it.
Must be. I'm just not seeing it. You, Jason, have no theory on how to control it.
Then you didn't tell me.
So let's take this back to the opening shot. We can leave the lights on. And yeah, like the way you have it now is great. If you can rewind it to the top.
Mouse your trackpad. Here, and bring it back to where?
Yeah, go back again. Shot number 2. So as he steps and we see the whole corridor.
Okay, play it, Cindy.
Okay, cool, right there. So we had a montage and they filmed stuff specifically for this, but we wanted to make more montage. We wanted to fatten it up. And I
Show all the worlds.
show all the worlds, go bananas, but the really important thing is to show the increasing frustration and despair, because that's going to motivate Amanda to just run and open up the first door she can get to. So we really had to like push the emotion really fast and really hard, and I was like, this is great, I love this, let's keep montaging this. It was just like, as an editor, that's just super fun to do. So one of the things I realized fairly early on, you know, when we got the dailies, the corridor extended a certain amount, and then there's a green screen at the end, because unfortunately this is not a documentary. And at some point, I eventually was like, wait a second, there's a green screen at the end in both directions, and the doors are identical in both directions, and the floor is identical in both directions.
So that moments and I have multiple takes.
So I can
opening doors.
Yeah, so I can have him open the door here from take 1, and then he can open the door from here in take 1, and nobody knows that we're looking at the same door, because the hallway has no identifying characteristic. So that opened a door for me that I was able to recycle some footage that way. And then I was like, well, I can use the same door opening multiple times. I can use the same scene. And so then I started going through the episode, and I was like, everywhere that they're wearing these clothes and have this equipment, I can use them opening the door for that.
Yeah.
So if we watch it again, but this time without the audio on, if you turn the audio all the way to 0, can you do that for you?
Do that, Sam?
All right, we're going to see a shot of Amanda crouched down. And then you're going to see the exact same shot flipped. That's once he starts opening all these doors. And this scene originally was a bit more linear. They had a whole conversation, and he quizzed her about more things. And we just felt like the more it was like things over here, things over there, the better it was going to work. So he opens the door turns into the box, the corridor turns into the box. Here's the first terrible world. Wave world, we call this one.
Yeah.
Bet you can't guess why. So these two are from the same scene. He opens up, this is Dirt World.
Fucking hate Dirt World.
Okay, so there she is down there.
Dirt World's the worst.
Now the reverse of this shot is going to appear in a minute. And then that's the reverse that I was talking about when he opened that other door. Now he's just closing doors. Now there she is crouched again from another take of the same scene, but the reverse coverage.
Right.
And then if you were to watch the episode all the way through, you'd recognize the shot where she turns around, possibly from a scene a little further along in the episode. So you can pause now. So just like as editors, we all love to like take the footage and make it plastic and cheat it and come up with ideas and do things. And this was wicked fun because I got to do that and be like, I'm shaking everybody.
And it works. Because you extended the thing and made it more interesting, all the different, dramatically what was happening. And you're using the same footage with the same green screens and stuff.
But it works. Like, that's the great thing, is like, we can make this.
When did you figure out the first time you could flip it?
Probably a little later than I should have.
No, I mean...
But
you wanted to make more of the thing, and it was probably this eureka moment.
It was great. I was like, oh my God, there's nothing showing. All the doors are the same. All the floors are the same. The backgrounds are the same. They look different to me in the Avid, but they're not going to look different at the end of the day. So carte blanche, and you get to go crazy. And it was really fun. And really the only limitation to this montage was well, how many worlds can we have that have something so dramatically different that you can tell it from the sliver of door that's open? They all have to have some sort of environmental catastrophe, I guess, but the point of the show isn't that every world has an environmental catastrophe. In every world, some decision somewhere got changed. And it could have been, he wore a blue shirt instead of a red shirt.
Well, there's sort of a thing in the show where it's your mental state affects the door you're opening. And spoiler. But they're in this particular time, they're in a very emotional flight and fight kind of place.
Yeah.
And so that affects the world, the doors are opening, and so this allowed you to express that.
It was good stuff. And I really, really liked the sequence. I had an awful lot of fun cutting it. And I just thought, as fellow editors or people interested in editing, you guys might get a kick out of that too.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
I know I did. Then move on.
Let's keep it moving.
Yeah, keep moving.
How much time do you
We got
What are we doing?
we got 20 minutes.
No, we can do it.
Okay.
We can do it. So the next one's yours, Jordan.
Oh, and want to do plague instead of R?
Well, yeah. Let's do play.
Do play.
Let's do play.
Play 7 minutes?
And then we'll play. Yeah, just play as much as.
All right, so the setup for this one is...
So he still hasn't found his wife.
Yep. And so,
They're still in different worlds.
and they've come into a different world. It looks pretty good. It looks like it's the right place, but then they realize everything seems like nobody's out on the streets, nothing's going on, and they drive, and he says, well, I got to get to my house. I got to see what's going on. So reluctantly, Amanda agrees to go, and this is what unfolds. And for me, the reason I like this clip is it's very emotional, and it really triggered something very deeply emotional in me when I was watching it. One of the last lines that Jason has in the scene, I think, is just so phenomenal. And so, to me, this is about how you can have a sci-fi show with a great sci-fi conceit and all sorts of really interesting ideas and intellectual approaches, but also the brilliant thing that Blake does so well is he keeps everything grounded in the reality of being a human being and the relationships between human beings and what's really important to them. So Jason has now been trying to get home to his wife for 5 episodes, and I don't think he's seen a Danielle. He's seen a Daniela. He's seen a couple of Daniellas, but they've been clearly
That's his wife.
Yeah.
That's Jennifer Connelly.
They're clearly they're not super close to the Daniela that he's really looking for. And so now they come to this world.
He's just trying to get home still.
Yeah.
Okay, let's play this clip of Sammy and with audio. Lights.
Now why this? Something very wrong.
Can we pause for just 1 second? Jason 1 has a son whose name is Charlie. Oh. There it is. Okay. The other thing to know is back home,
He has a son.
he has a son whose name is Charlie, and he's 17. Okay, hit it. Thank you.
Please hurry.
Daniela.
Jason.
What's that?
I carried you out. You told me you would die. I don't want to get you sick.
Where's Charlie?
He's still up in his room. No one's come to take him yet.
Hey.
Whoa. What are you doing outside?
My wife decides she's really sick. My son is dead.
Well, you got the colors properly displayed. Somebody will be along to help you soon.
No, she
Stay
needs help
back.
now.
It's okay.
Stay back.
I'm Dr. Springer. May I see her?
Yeah, downstairs, inside.
Jay, test them.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Dr. Quill. I'm gonna give you a rapid test. Give me a wrist. You're negative.
For what?
I need your wrist.
Hey, seriously,
Stay
what?
right here. Stay here. You're clear as well.
Doctor, can you get it to a hospital?
All hospitals and trail centers have been at capacity for weeks. And it wouldn't matter. Once the eye's hemorrhaged, the end is near. I don't know about you, but I'd rather die in my own home than have a pot and become a 10. I'm sorry.
Hey, there's gotta be something you can do. Please.
Go grab this gem and some auto injectors. Just fucking do it, Jay. The virus isn't airborne. It spreads through body fluids. Don't touch her. She won't make it through the night.
What's this?
This is morphine. If you give her all 5 at once, she'll slip away. Don't wait. The last 8 hours are brutal. Let's go.
Jason.
I've got her. She's my wife. She's my wife.
But in this room, she isn't. If you catch whatever she has, you will never see your real wife. Never again. This isn't your world. We don't belong here.
Yeah.
They won't take me.
You gave me these.
To help me?
To make it all right.
Okay. But I miss you so much.
I missed you too. I'm here now. Do you remember that day? Yellowstone.
We ate at that place.
Charlie had the buffalo burger. Pretended to like it.
And there's that view from our table.
The mountains.
And the sun setting behind them. And then after we went outside.
All the stars.
That day was perfect.
Theo.
Good shit. Yeah. Okay, we can stop there. Thank
You
you.
go ahead and pause it, Sammy. We're stopping.
Thank you. So I just think Celine and Logan got incredible performances from the actors in that scene, and I think that scene is helpful and instructive to realize that when you're cutting a scene, you've got to figure out for yourself, whose scene is it? Is this her scene or is it his scene? Like, whose experience are we really following in this? To some extent, you can follow two people's experience, but I think at the end of the day, when you're cutting a scene, you pick sort of one person whose point of view it is. And so this becomes the story of Jason, who's found his wife, finally, but she's gonna die. Sorry. So, see, it always gets me. So it's like he wants to comfort her, but he can't because he'll get the disease.
Yeah.
And so he's come with the morphine to kill her, and she says yes to it. And they have this wonderful reminiscing. And she's talking a lot about the things that she remembers, but I'm playing it on him because the impact of the scene is not her remembering the great times, it's him remembering the great times.
It's the connection.
It's the connection.
Between this person who is a different version, but is the same.
Yeah, and he wants to get back. Like, everything that's happening is what he wants to get back to. He wants to get back so badly to this person, and she's got most of the same memories, and now he's gonna put her down. Like, it's heartbreaking. But I felt very strongly that it can't be her scene. Like, the temptation is to play the drama of, like, the dying person and her making this agonizing decision about whether or not to end her life. But that's actually not the scene. The scene is him having to make the decision to offer, and then he's going to administer. And like, he's finally found what he's been looking for, and he can't keep it.
And also, by the way, he does. He's not like turning away and fleeing. Like, I'm like, please don't touch her. Please don't touch her.
Yeah.
And I'd say, yeah, it's beautiful.
We have 10 minutes.
Well, I think we should show some of the next scene because it kind of illustrates the same point. We can stop it midway. I'll stop it at some point. But it's the same thing because whose scene is this? And
Yep.
this is a nice little intro.
It's an amazing scene.
This is I think it's called having a beer with yourself.
Okay.
Yeah, beer with yourself. So this happens towards the end, and Jason 1 has gotten back to World 1 finally. Spoiler alert. And
It's been out for many months, you guys.
yeah.
You're in the
But,
wrong room if you.
But this is a scene where he goes back to the local bar that we watched the first 2 clips in, where the same song was playing, and now he's back in this world. He's hiding from. He's already encountered another version of himself that's managed to make it back into this world, and so he's trying to figure out what's going on. And so the person who enters the bar is Jason 1, and I don't want to tell you anything more other than whose sin is it. And I guess it's Jason once, but anyway, let's split. I still was thinking about it with Seattle's. By another Jason.
Jason, you good? Yeah. I need a drink. That was quick. What? Same? Yeah. Here, brother. Me. When did you tonight? Yesterday. So you were kidnapped too? Yeah. Daniel was killed right in front. The other day. Me too. You take back to the last Eden. Man help me escape. I guess this was inevitable. Different version of us would spawn, but oh man. I know some of them must have been killed. Or lost, or ran out of ampules. But some of them, like you and like me, made the right choices. Or got lucky. Our paths may have been altered by different doors in different worlds, but eventually they made their way back to this Chicago. Every choice I made in there created a different Jason. Every choice those Jasons made, and those Where's your man? She, I lost her. Where? Very dark world. Yours. She found a place that she wanted to stay. That's good. Do you have any ampules left? Me neither. So here we are. What now? You must have thought I came to kill her. I only know about that first dessert because of Charlie. We only know about it because of Charlie. Jason 2. That's what I call doesn't know about it. Right? Take it for a drive. At night. Take it for a walk down one of the paths on the north side of the river. I thought about it today. I dug a grave today. I don't have a gun. You don't have a gun.
All right, you can stop it. So it was a fun scene to work on because you're looking.
Wait, stop, Sue.
Pause on that frame.
Yeah.
Joe, how do you get that frame?
Well, so it's on. They shot it with a stunt actor / body double on one side, and we just split it right down the middle, of course. So it was, Joel acting with his body double stunt actor kind of guy, and I went through and matched up all of the takes and just used the pieces I needed based on that. So it was a pretty simple split screen, really.
But how did you decide how often you want to show this?
I kind of went through all the moments where I thought they might overlap or interact, and so I tried to find moments where they were kind of naturally overlapping each other or having some sort of détente of sorts, figuring things out. That was how I did it. But I split screened everything, every version of every take. I had every permutation of it.
Cool.
For the wide shots.
Yeah.
Because there were only so many. I didn't want to go to it 100 times. I wanted to go to it 5 times, hopefully,
Yeah.
and have it be meaningful each time we were going there. So that's how. And then you can kind of play with I would try to find the overlaps so that it felt more like it was actually happening. Because all I had really in this scene were a couple of different versions of close-ups in a wide shot.
Yeah.
So, and by the way, it's a 9-minute scene.
It's fucking great. And how long was it originally?
The original version of the scene?
Yeah, didn't you?
Maybe 10 minutes or so. I mean, I think we got it done to 8 minutes or 7 minutes. But yeah, we cut out some dialogue because honestly, probably half that dialogue doesn't make any sense because if you haven't seen the show, but it will make sense if you watch the show.
We promise.
But anyway, basically Jason 1 is figuring out, okay, there are a bunch of versions of me here in World 1 now. It's not, and again, spoiler, but that he's realizing there are all these versions of himself, and so who's going to get back together with the wife, and that's sort of the new dilemma. And this guy has had a very dark history, this other Jason. And so it was really interesting because Joel Edgerton is such a subtle actor, trying to really focus in on, Jason 8 or 20 or whoever this Jason is.
I think he's 13.
It's Jason 13. Of course you know.
Yeah.
Of course you know. But yeah, we really focused on Jason 13. It was easier to cut Jason 1. And then Jason 13, we're trying to kind of create a little bit of a backstory of what he's gone through that was different from Jason 1. Because he basically was the same person as Jason 1 in the box a month ago. And so this is, but when I read the book, I was like, oh my God, the concept of having a beer with yourself sounds pretty fucking fantastic and hilarious. So I always loved the idea. And the other funny thing I'll say about that scene is it's an 8-minute scene, so I just found the longest Bob Dylan song I could. Convinced them it was about multi-universe
On
stuff.
that note, we have to forego Q&A because we're running a little bit late. But I urge you to talk to Jill and Jordan during the break. Also, I know a few of you out there who haven't seen the show were a bit confused, but what I think we all are not confused about is these two did superb work on this room.